And now I would like to introduce you to a physician who has made a difference in many, many lives as a pioneer in clinical cardiology and preventive cardiology, and the author of the South Beach Diet. Please welcome Dr. Arthur Agatston.
Thank you very much, Marty, and good evening. My name is Arthur Agatston, and I'm honored to be here as a grateful student of Dr. Robert Superko. Robert Superko is a cardiologist who taught me and thousands of my colleagues that when it comes to cholesterol, size matters. He taught us that the size of the particles that carry cholesterol to and from our tissues predicts heart attacks far better than the total good and bad cholesterol counts. He now instructs us on other new practical ways that we can use ever more advanced blood and genomic testing to prevent the great majority of heart attacks and strokes. His personalized, tailored approach to prevention is saving thousands of lives today and will save even more in the future. I first learned the Superko prevention strategy at national heart meetings, but as I got to know Robert better, I experienced his friendliness and his teachings in many other settings, over Guinness at Irish pubs, on beautiful golf courses where cardiologists really do accomplish a lot, and while viewing wild elk in the Grand Tetons. Nothing much scares Robert, a black belt in karate, when it comes to advancing medical knowledge. Recently, he found himself, along with his beautiful wife and prevention partner, Brenda, crawling through a burning building with oxygen tanks strapped on their backs. This was part of an in-training exercise so that they could better understand the challenges of the Atlanta firemen they were working with on a landmark project to help prevent heart attacks in firefighters. This is just one of many examples of the incredible breakthrough work that Robert has spearheaded. He has been and remains the #1 prevention mentor for many of us who call on him day and night with questions and ideas. His kindness, generosity, honesty, intelligence, and integrity makes for productive relationships with hundreds of doctors throughout the country, and I'm proud to be one of them. I congratulate Robert Superko on receiving the Larry King Foundation's Physician Laureate Award.
Well, thank you, Arthur and Larry. This is a phenomenal honor for me. And first of all, I'd like to thank Larry, his beautiful wife, Sean, and Larry King Jr., who's made this whole thing happen. To be in the company of people like Betsy Nabel and Richard Katz is like being in the company of giants. So I'm both very honored and very humbled at the same time. So thank you. My journey in this started with my father, who was a captain in the U.S. Navy and had a heart attack at 62. He wasn't fat, he wasn't overweight, didn't smoke. And I remember his cardiologist saying, Robert, this disease is relentlessly progressive. He's going to die from it. And he did 2 years later. My mother also died in my arms from a ruptured aortic aneurysm, interestingly enough, that you just heard about. So it occurred to me that prevention really has to be a more important role. This led to 30 years of NIH-funded research that you paid for, thank you very much, in a whole variety of areas, heart disease regression and other areas that now can prevent a lot of this disease. And along the way, I met Arthur Agatston, who's a cardiologist in this field, and also found that there's one group of people that really deserves a lot of medical emphasis in this area. And if you remember 9/11, when people were rushing out of the buildings, there was one and only one group of people rushing into the buildings, and that was firefighters. So I'm proud to say that Chief Steve Rollator is with us at our table tonight, who helped us accomplish a huge federal study in firefighters to help find out why they have 300% more heart disease than other people. So thank you for being with us, Steve. Finally, this took a journey to Celera, the company that decoded the human genome in 2001, and we're now pushing the use of genetics in heart disease, and particularly heart disease prevention. Finally, along the way, you think, what have you learned from all this? And one thing I've learned is that the joy and the benefit you get from giving to other people, like Larry King and the foundation is doing, is far more valuable than the stuff you put into it. So I'd like to applaud Larry King and his group for this phenomenal effort that really helps many people with heart disease. And to culminate it, you can't do these things alone. And I'm proud to say my life partner and the love of my life is in the audience, my wife Brenda, who's worked with me for many years, along with firefighters, and we couldn't do this without her. So once again, thanks to Larry King and the foundation. It's a great honor. Thank you.